What's going on, guys? Aaron here, Curls in the Rack, back again. This video is going to be for those of you like myself who decided to get the trolley, paid all the money, and then said, well, if I'm paying all this money, I'm definitely going to get the longer of the arms. Well, then you realize I got to be outside of the rack with them. They get in the way when you're adjusting the weight. If you want to do stuff from the outside of the rack, you got to move them down or move them up depending on what you're doing. Got old, so if you have the longer ones like I do, you might want to decide to make some for yourself for the inside of the rack. And that is exactly what I did in this video. So let's get to it. So before we get to the build portion of the video, why would you want to build these things if they're really not going to hold up? Well, the proof is in the pudding. We'll go ahead and use them. I'll test out a bunch of different exercises on them, and then we'll get to the build. So you can cut it there if they break. If they break during the middle of this, then you probably just want to end the video and not make it for yourself. But let's go. Okay, first things first before we get to the build. These things are not going to be able to have all the weight that you might have put on your original trolley arms. Obviously, these are not metal, these are made of wood. There are some metal pieces in there, and I'll show those in a minute, but you get a lot of weight on one side, wood will break. If you put enough torque on it this way and all the weight's on one side and you're doing a lot of force, you could probably put like 65, 75 pounds on these things and they'll be fine. But any heavier than that, use them at your own risk. So if you still decide that you want to do the build, then let's go to the next step. Okay, first things first, if you haven't seen my DIY Frankenstein rack, I show you how to make a 3x3 upright out of a 4x4 and put all the holes in it and use it for the uprights on a foldable rack. So I go into a lot more detail there and I show a lot of clips on how you can accomplish making one of those. This is essentially the same thing, only we have a few modifications to make on this 3x3. So let's get to it. The tools you're gonna need a drill. You're gonna need a 3/4 bit to make your holes for the pins to go through. You're gonna need a 1 1/8. I used a 1 1/8 spade bit to make the hole for this, for the bearing to go through that attaches to the trolley. But I would recommend using a 1 1/4 inch, because this one I still had to kind of route it out a little bit to get this nipple in there. So, not this nipple, this nipple. Then you're gonna need some sort of drill. You're gonna need a Dremel. You're gonna need a router. This is optional, but it does make things a lot smoother. You're gonna need an Allen wrench to get the bolts off of the front and reattach the bolts when we're putting it up there. Socket wrench, and another wrench to get the bolts from the side of the trolley off, and a pencil, and a tape measure. So the first thing I did was I cut this down to 35 inches because that's the length of the shorter trolley arms, and so that's what we're making here. Okay, so the other items that you're gonna need, and I got these from Home Depot, are these ring washers here. Now I got 2 for one side and then 1 for the other side. This is gonna, if you notice on the trolley arms here, they have these rings that jut out here. Now obviously on the wood, we're not gonna have that. So that's why I got these ones as sort of a spacer, so you wouldn't have a bunch of space in between the trolley, a lot of wiggle there. So what I had to do with these ones after I got them, and I'll throw a picture up here of the nipple and the washers on the screen, they didn't quite fit over this. So in order to make them fit, I had to sort of route them out, and that's why you're gonna need the Dremel, so they fit smooth right over the top of this thing. The other thing you're gonna need for the inside of this guy, and this is where you're gonna use that 1 1/8 or 1 1/4, and you're gonna make a hole, and make sure you drill exactly straight through here. Get all the way almost to the end, let this piece come out the other side, turn it over, and go right back through. Then you can sort of route it out if this doesn't fit, because this nipple piece is going to act as sort of like the piece that's on the longer one over there. That way you don't have a bunch of wood grinding against this piece here. Instead, you have this nice smooth piece of metal in there. And I think that costs like $3. So you're gonna need 2 of those. You're gonna need 6 of the washers. So after I had my piece of wood cut down to 35 inches, I just went ahead and took the longer of the 2 trolley arms and put it right over the top. I made sure that it lined up perfectly up here and that it was even and straight in the middle. I then took a pencil, went through all the holes and made circles right on here. After I was all the way down, I took this off, and then I made my drills. I drilled here, and make sure you go straight down here, straight down here, straight down there. After you get to the other side, after it pokes through a little bit, you'll have a hole to line up. Straight down on all of them. If you don't go straight on all of them, the pin, once it goes in, will be off slightly. You won't be able to get it in the other side of the trolley handle. So make sure you go straight. That is the most important thing on this. All right, so the next step is going to be, you're gonna take that nipple that you got and you're gonna put it into this hole. Now it's gonna fit really snug, so you're gonna need to pound it in there with a hammer to get it all the way through. And the reason that you want it to be really snug is you want the piece that goes on the trolley and goes through here to rotate, but you do not want this piece to rotate. You want this piece to stay in here stationary and not have any play, because we don't want this thing wobbling side to side. Okay, so once you get it all cut and you get these pieces dremeled out so that they fit over the top of this, I put this in this side, put these 2 here, left it in there like that, so they're hanging on that side. And I find that putting the 2 on the outside rather than the 2 on the inside makes it a better snug fit, because that's where you're going to be pressing out this way. Then took this guy, put it through there. Then, this is the sort of tricky part, is where you need to put this guy down here, catch it with your other finger. Once you have it, you can sort of move it down so it's centered on that other side. until you can push that guy through. Then you can put your bolts back in with the Allen wrench. And you've got yourself a short trolley arm. So what do you guys think? I don't know. You're going to try to make these? Let me know in the comments section. Am I a fool for making these? I don't know. I had fun making them. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to use these ones until I can gather enough money to buy some shorter trolley arms. I contacted Rogue and they want $265 for the shorter arms. That's not including shipping. So we'll see how it goes. They work fine for now, and they're going to get me by until I can afford the other ones, and that's cool with me. So on the next one, we're going to do a review. I'm going to do a review on the lower pulley attachment for the Slinger, which I'm super excited about because that's going to be a game changer for the Slinger. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, and until next time, peace.